Scarpins Avenue.
Hey guys, welcome again to Sklarbro Country, the virus edition, aka the Pandy Pods,
aka Two Guys No Lies,
aka Two Dudes No Prudes. That was a new one.
aka Two Guys No Disguise,
aka Two Wolverines, One Quarantine,
aka Two Sklars No Bars.
There you go. Guys, we are so happy to be back with you. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope the people that are listening to this podcast didn't drink any disinfectants or inject them to let the light in.
Yeah.
If you don't follow us or you hate us, go for it, man.
Yeah.
Go for it. But
if you hate us and you're still listening and paying attention to this
why are you doing
podcast,
that's amazing.
Thank you for sticking
Thank
with
you
us.
for staying with us, and now go drink some Lysol. We watched the Jordan documentary. I don't know if you guys are watching that. I highly recommend The Last Dance. Again, we'll talk more about it. We have Jeannie Buss. We did an interview with her,
the owner of the Lakers,
daughter of the
Dr.
great
Jerry Buss.
He was a doctor of dunks and Showtime.
So she comes on and talks about the NBA with us this week.
She was amazing
on View from the Cheap Seats, our other podcast, which we're talking about possibly roping that into the same feed with this and having that be the Friday show. We're working on that. We have our YouTube channel, which is up.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who's been subscribing. More Cheap Seats episodes are being dropped on that thing. There's
on
so
a
many
daily
good
basis.
ones.
We're going to get all the way up to 77.
Billiards and darts just went up.
Darts,
oh my God.
You got to watch the darts because it's hard to tell who are the men and who are the women in the darts.
It looks like everyone's transitioning, but we don't know which direction they're coming from or going to. It is fantastic. And I have to tell this story because this story was so funny.
Please.
This story was so... Should I save it for the end? I have a story I'll save for the end.
Save a story
I'll
for the
save
end.
a story for the
and
end.
then right after that, at the very end of the show, our good buddy Langhorne Slim, one of our favorite musicians in the world, recorded a song at his house.
Shot a video, and we're going to play that for you guys. And you can hear the audio on the podcast version, but you can watch the video. Full episodes are on the YouTube page. That's YouTube Sklarbro Country. All right, should we jump into the story?
Let's jump right into the first story.
All right. Land O'Lakes
Got some in my fridge.
Just announced that they won't have the Native American woman on the front of their butter package anymore. Woman in the Native American garb with the feathers sticking out, not going to be on the front of the packaging anymore. That's not a big deal. Look, they're a company. They can do that. You can change your packaging all the time.
Yeah.
Am I right? Update it.
By the way, I am not offended or upset at all that that's changing.
Okay, but the uproar from some people, and I guess it's just a decent number of people.
When you say some people, you mean white people.
Right. It's exactly who you think would be pissed at something like that.
And the uproar is
I
massive.
want my engine on my butter package.
Why are you changing things?
Make butter racist again.
Make butter racist to me. Maybe that's
People
it.
saying I'm never buying Land O'Lakes for the rest of my life. And I would say which will hopefully be over after you drink this Clorox.
Maybe it's... I can't believe it's not racist butter, which is probably what they should call it.
ICBINRB.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not racist butter. That's what they want to call it now.
Like they wouldn't care if Land O'Lakes changed the name to Land of Lakes.
Right.
Like if they just made that change, that wouldn't bother anyone. But you take that squaw off the front of the package and forget about
People
it.
are disoriented. What do I do with this?
How do I
put it
eat
on
this?
donuts?
No,
I don't know how to use this anymore.
Do I put it on fruit? What do you do with this?
So what did it become? That's, I guess, the question.
It's just a picture of a lake, and with the phrase farm owned, they are trying to tell the story that they get their butter from a collection, co-op of farmers. Why is that a bad story? This is the story they want to tell. And by the way, most of those farmers probably are people
Republicans.
That's right.
Or red state Republicans.
Right. So your own people are saying we want to have our.
You're shunning your own people. These aren't like left-wing elitist Hollywood people who are like, you got to change the butter.
They're pissed off that much that they don't want to buy the butter. Does it make the butter taste any worse? That's my question, Jay. Does it make the butter taste worse to not have the Indian on the package?
I don't know, and I'm going to say probably
Native
not.
American on the package. So what is pissing people off about this? Let's really get to the. Why was it trending on Twitter this past week?
Because people can't stand change. It's the same thing with the Cleveland Indians. I got my
so
buddy,
when I saw, you're right. When I saw that Land O'Lakes was trending, I was like, oh my God, Land O'Lakes is the new Steakums. They're spitting truth.
Right.
They're like, don't believe this president.
remember Steakums?
Remember Steakums? Remember? I thought Land O'Lakes is doing that. No, it's all about the mascot. But you're right. It's like
It is like the Cleveland Indians thing, because when you think about it, I have a friend, my neighbor is a huge Cleveland Indians fan, huge Cleveland fan, grew up right outside of Cleveland. And his thing was, even before it became a debate, he was like, they should just change it anyway, because every team has changed things just to advance. And the only teams that have hung on to something for so long,
think of the only teams that are hanging on to it: the Redskins
and the Cleveland Indians, but they've changed to a C. I thought the C is so much cooler. It's just
simple.
It's a red C on a blue hat. It's a throwback. It looks like it's from the 1930s or 40s. It's like a wool cap kind of a thing. I love it. And people from Cleveland love it. Like, don't assume that,
that's right.
And if people are pissed off that the butter is changing to a collective of farmers,
this is what CNN said. Land O'Lakes Incorporated is a farmer-owned cooperative funded by a group of Minnesota dairy farmers in 1921. So this is a long time that they've been doing this.
I like it.
According to the company's press release, the change was made to highlight the company's roots as a farmer-owned business ahead of its 100th anniversary, which is happening in 2021.
Great.
And announcing the change. So it wasn't even random. It's in conjunction with the 100-year anniversary of Land O'Lakes.
Okay.
In announcing the change, the company has made no mention of the removal of the Native American Indian. They're like, no one will notice this, right?
Right.
Some products, including stick butter, will include photos of Land O'Lakes farmers and co-op members and copy that reads, since 1921, proud to be farmer-owned.
So they're farmer-owned. It's like a collective of small farms owned by farmers instead of a large corporation.
That's right.
This is not a
What a better story to tell. They just want to tell their story and consumers that they feel like will resonate with consumers. But
that was their choice.
They didn't anticipate this would be a Cleveland Indian-esque like pushback and blowback.
Just because something's been there for a long time doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it the best option.
Well, it's like that I got into this whole argument today in this like email chain that we had about Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews said, he's like, I behaved incorrectly around this woman. And this woman.
Right. So he was basically saying in an interview that like I was right to be fired and terminated.
Right. I didn't fight the termination because of my behavior. I made some inappropriate comments. Look, he didn't touch the woman, but he made some inappropriate comments.
He made her feel uncomfortable. This woman who was interviewing him.
No person should walk into work and be made to feel uncomfortable unless you have a position about what you're talking about and the person is grilling you on it and you feel uncomfortable about having to defend your position. If you were Dr. Birx and you had to defend the president saying that people should drink disinfectant, you should go into work and feel uncomfortable. But no one should be like, hey, take that makeup off because you don't want guys hitting on you. That has nothing to do with it.
It also is a very odd thing to say.
So again, I know that guys used to say that to women all the time in the past. Just because they did it in the past doesn't mean that, and no one got mad about it then, doesn't mean that no one can get mad about it now.
I was thinking about Woody Allen today. I was thinking about how like in the 60s, if he would have married his like adopted daughter, people would have been like, oh, he's just
That's just Woody. He's
That's
crazy.
Woody being Woody. He's
that's
crazy.
That's how effed up what's his face? Roman Polanski was.
Right.
That's how bad that was. That even in the 70s, people were like, this is screwed up.
Right.
This is like against the law.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah. You can't have sex with your 14-year-old cousin, Jerry Lee Lewis. There's so many things wrong with that. I don't care how well you play piano.
No.
And by the way, 14 is probably giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
So, like, just because people did it back then doesn't mean that it's okay right now. Just because we had a logo of a red-faced, racist, Indian, Native American person on Cleveland and no one complained about it for years and years doesn't mean
that we can't right now reevaluate it.
That's right.
Take a look at it. And by the way, what's so insane about this is that these guys weren't doing it necessarily to make a political statement.
No.
As much as they were doing it to just
Celebrate
highlight the 100-year anniversary.
Right. That's right.
So they're even people who are mad about it are like misplacing their anger about the reasoning.
That's right. There you go. All right, let's take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We have people ask us all the time, what podcasts should we also be listening to? What should we be checking out? our guys, the Grolic Saves the World. It is one of my favorite podcasts. Ben Roy, Andrew Orvidal, Adam Caton Holland. These three dudes are so funny. I say if you haven't started listening, go back and start listening at the beginning when they were doing podcasts together.
Yes.
Before the whole quarantine. But they've managed to keep it going. Their podcasts are hilarious. They each try and take a challenge something that they feel like they
can better their lives. Like
That's
one
right.
episode, they were trying to stop using the words and like in their sentences and their regular speaking to it. And whenever they said it, they got whacked with a ruler. It was the funniest thing. That made me laugh.
With
Or
a spatula.
The spatula. That, they tried
So
to.
good.
They've done so many. They could try to go off of social media for a week. Like all the things that they've been doing and their reactions to it and the riffs.
They
that
are
come
the
out of it.
guinea pigs for things that maybe you say, I wish I would try that. These guys are trying it for you with hilarious results. So check them out. They left a voicemail for us. We'll play a little music from our friends, the band Detroit from Minneapolis. That is no longer, but we love these guys nonetheless. Thank you for letting us use this music, and we'll see you on the other side of the break.
Hey, what's up, Sklar Brothers? This is Adam Caton Holland from the Grolic Saves the World podcast. I got my buddies here, Ben Roy.
What's up?
Andrew Orvidal, where are you at?
Hey.
Yep, Andrew's taking the quarantine pretty hard. Wanted to give you guys a live update about what we've been up to. Andrew, you were telling me about your daughter. What's going on with Amelia?
Oh, I was just curious how your parenting styles have changed because mine have left. I have no parenting style. It's just like Neverland over here. It's just like every 80s movie where the dad is left in charge and just all hell breaks loose. It's sugar cereal, video games, bedtime
Mr.
whenever
Mom
you
in
feel
it.
like it. Yeah, hey, you want to fall asleep with a TV on like an old man? You can do that now, kid. Whatever.
Are you bangeranging? You letting them bangerang, Lost Boys?
Yeah,
We getting
hardcore
imaginary meals at the
bangerang.
table?
I'm picturing like
Bang-a-rangin'.
if it's an 80s movie, you got a folding table in the garage and you're playing poker with your buds, and she's there like dealing with a little green visor.
I have a folding table in my garage, but it's for Dungeons and Dragons. So it's a little twist on an old fave.
But do you let her wear that gambling visor? That's the big part about it. When she's code DMing with you, do you let her wear the visor?
Smoking a cigar.
It's funny. I don't see my son. He's 15 now, and he has
He still lives with you.
Oh yeah, but he has reverted to the role of just being a guy that is renting a room in our house. Like we wake up in the morning and you just hear this loud man piss in the sky, like, ugh. And then I don't see him. I just hear him in his room.
The rattle of a kidney stone around the porcelain of the bowl.
He like aggressively plays video games all day. And then he just comes out. The other day I was like, have you had breakfast? And he's like, yeah, I had breakfast. and I asked him, I was like, what did you make? And he's like, I had nachos at 8:30 in the morning. And
That's industrious. You gotta tip your hat. I mean,
Chile
That's
quiles,
amazing.
dude. Chile quiles.
But
what
I
he
can't-
didn't elaborate on was it was Doritos, nacho flavored Doritos, which are legally nachos, but
And he went to a 7-Eleven with no mask and purchased after licking all of the candy bars and other chips.
But he came back with my favorite Scratch'ems, so I can't get mad at him. What about you, Adam?
Well, I'm in a different situation. My son's only 17 months old. And I remember when he was 13 months old, he was like, Dad, I'd love to read On the Road by Kerouac. And I was like, you're not ready.
Wait,
It's
wait,
the
you're 13
quarantine. And I was like, all right, you're 17 months now. If you want to read On the Road, read On the Road. And he liked it, but he was like, it seems kind of trite. I don't get what's so big about Kerouac. I was like, well, dig deeper. And so he's read the Dharma Bums that he really liked, and then he just got inspired by the beat. So I gave him some Lawrence Ferlinghetti, and he's been writing his own poetry, sort of inspired by Coney Island of the Mind. And it's
Coney
fun to watch
Island of the
kid-
Mind.
It's fun to watch the kid explore like all the literature of the 60s.
So he's
and the
not
beat
getting up and
movement.
passing a kidney stone like my son is. He's reading the great...
Yeah, he's reading the beats and then sort of putting his own take on it. And it's really kind of fun to see that spark in your child.
Well, anyway,
hang up on Adam.
that's what we're doing here right now. We're still existing in the Mile High City, being great parents, as you can tell. And I wonder what you guys are doing, Sklars. We know, how are you all doing there?
I've seen those basketball videos. They're out there. They're getting their sunshine.
I gotta go, guys. Malcolm just walked in the cutest little beret. Oh my God, he's smoking too.
Hang up.
All
Hang
right,
up on
all right. We got to get going, but we hope you all are well and stay healthy. Grolix out.
Let it say. Let it say. Let it say.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. As we mentioned before, we have a YouTube page, Sklarbro Country. Sklarbro Country. Just look it up and you'll see it on there. Subscribe to it. Spend time. Watch the full episodes of the podcast. Watch old episodes of Cheap Seats.
People always ask us, like, "Oh, I'm stuck at home. There's
what
nothing I can do. My kids are asleep. What can I watch? What can I do? There are no new sports." Go back and watch the full catalog of Cheap Seats.
We're going to keep putting episodes out, so you will have new ones to look at. Go back and watch the old ones. You watch them more than once. They're really fun. They really hold up. I'm
Totally.
so proud of how they hold up.
Me too.
Okay, so this next story is great, and then I'll tell a little personal story because I flipped around and saw something that to me was just a great personal story.
Great.
Okay, so lawsuits are still happening. Thank God. Like you can't get a marriage license and you can't get divorced,
And you can't like attend someone's funeral.
but
You can still sue someone.
That's right.
There's the good news.
And we've got a great one against the American Girl doll company, which I don't know how I feel about this. And Jay, you're not there yet, but like we might lend you.
Should I be? I don't know if I want it. I don't even know. See, that's the thing. It's like
I could lend you them, but
I don't know that I want
okay,
them.
when the time is right, you might be able to have, because we have a bunch of old ones. So remember the old bit we did about,
We did an old bit about how whenever something is personified or given a voice that
in like a commercial, they always would give it like a New York accent. Hey, I'm mucus in your stomach.
hey,
Like an angry.
I'm in your toilet.
I'm a
bowl.
scrubbing. Hey, scrub your bubbling toilet,
Scrub
you
my
stupid
balls,
idiot. You
dumb-
stupid idiot.
You dumb dummy.
Like, why are the products so aggro
Aggressive.
towards you?
And they're angry and they're
So
New
it
York
works
kids.
on some of them. Yeah, if you scrub and bubble, it'd be great to have like a New York cabbie being like, "Hey, dirt, get out of here, you stupid idiot." But it doesn't work on all products, and it feels like they're trying to jam it in. So one of our things was like, "Hey, I'm an American Girl doll. Your daughter likes to brush my hair." Remember that?
I loved it.
I love that
That's
bit.
how we brought American Girl dolls in. Because that was in your world when we were doing that bit.
It works.
It totally works.
American Girl dolls are really, really expensive if you don't know what they are, but they come with, first of all, they're really well made. They come with books and history that is about the history of the time. So if a girl is like an American girl from like 1812, her family's going to be involved in the War of 1812. And if you read the book about her, you actually learn a little history about it. If it's an immigrant who came over from in the 1940s,
1910s, yeah.
then it's like you're fled Russia because of this. And now you've got like all this like Jewish history. It's not bad. It's expensive, but there is something to it. I can't poo-poo the whole thing because they actually did teach my kids a bunch of stuff. So it's also American made. So that's good. So you are supporting a factory that made products, and they're actually really well made. So you can feel good that you're supporting this.
And they look like little girls, right? I mean,
well, so they do have this thing. They do look like little girls, but they do have this thing where they're like, you can buy a doll that looks like you, but they never look like the kids. You know what I mean? They never. It's like just
so you send a photo of your kid and then they make it.
They don't make it look like you. It just. This one kind of looks like you. It's more one of those like Rorschach-y things where you want to believe that
it's what it is. It's like
it.
horoscopes. That's so me. Our old horoscope joke. The oldest, I was on Apartment 2F, our show. I'm reading my horoscope and I'm like, something good or bad may or may not happen in the near or distant future.
That is so Capricorn.
That is so Capricorn.
All right, so the American Girl dolls supposed to look like your daughter. They don't, but they still charge you, I don't know, $100-something bucks for it. So I'm on board with them, but at the same time, I kind of feel like it doesn't feel it. Like if they were more reasonably priced, I would feel better. But who am I to set the price? The market sets the price, and
that's right.
If people are willing to pay to get their kids to shut up about buying these things, then that's what they're willing to pay. That's essentially what this is.
Right.
American Girl dolls are. How much will you pay to shut your kids up from asking about something?
To get your kid occupied in something, and also to
Well, so how much are sports tickets? If you're like, we're going to go see an NBA game, those are $30 or $40 a ticket.
$30 or $40.
$60 a ticket? $100 a ticket?
$100 a ticket.
Okay. So you'll spend for one afternoon $300 if it's you and your two kids that you're taking to the thing. If your whole family, $400.
Yeah.
Not including parking, $25. Not including food, that's another $60. You spend $500 if you have that money. If you're going to take your kids to one and your family to one NBA game,
Right.
that's what you're going to spend. So in comparison, it's not a lot. But
It's
you're
like
saying
$200.
I'd spend $100, $110, $120 to get my kids to stop asking me to get this thing.
Got it.
That's how much it's worth.
Got
for me.
it. Yeah.
So here's a story that came up, and I'm not sure where I land on this. Let me continue to say that I don't know where I land, whose side I'm on. And I defy you to choose which side you're on. A Chicago astronomer has sued the maker of American Girl doll, alleging that the Wisconsin company stole her likeness and name to create its astronaut doll. Okay? So, and again,
She's like Dane cooking them a little bit.
well, it stole my essence. But the truth of it is that, like, again,
Why did she call Steve Byrne?
she really went after him. Okay, so this is what they say. They could then say our dolls don't look like anybody. They could go in the other direction.
That direction because
Lean into the fact that they are.
look, we
duping
try
girls.
and no one says it works.
The
How about
federal
that?
trademark lawsuit filed in Madison this week. Can't get a marriage license. Can't go to someone's funeral. You can sue somebody. Ask American Girl and its parent company Mattel to stop selling the Luciana Vega doll, described.
Well, say the name of the person who filed the thing.
Well, hold on. As an aspiring astronaut ready to take the next giant leap to Mars, the Wisconsin State Journal reported, quote, I wish the doll, this is what I said. I wish the doll came with an adult diaper.
Oh, so it's that female astronaut who drove.
No, it's not that. But how great would it be if it was
But
that?
no, that's what I'm saying. That would be such a better doll with a better story. That's a book I would read. She drove through the night. She wore a
500
diaper.
miles, didn't stop, just so she could tell the guy who
That she
broke up
loved
with
him.
her
It
that she
sounds
loved him.
like an Adele song, which
That's-
we've always said this about Adele.
It's empowerment.
Driving to your ex's house.
Just to tell them that it's okay, you're fine. You're
You'll
not
fi-
fine.
I'll find someone else who looks like you. That's
That's
such
not-
a weird
it's a
thing to
terrible
say
thing
to
to do.
someone while their kids are running around
So
behind
the
them in the
woman's
doorway.
was her name's Lucianne Walkowitz, is a TED
Her name is Lucianne Walkowitz,
Walkowitz.
and the name of the doll.
is Luciana Vega.
It's
She's
already
hold on.
close.
She's a TED. I'll give you more facts. Okay, she's a TED Senior Fellow at the Adler Planetarium in Chicago. Spent much of her career with NASA and has
Okay.
lectured extensively on Mars exploration.
Getting closer.
It's kind of getting close to who she is. American Girl doll media relations did not answer the phone during business hours, seeking comment. Wait,
What?
What? They didn't answer the
They
phone.
didn't answer the phone.
You just tried once. This
Well,
makes
but-
me feel like they called and they're not answering.
They're
the
not
phone.
answering the phone, but like
It's weird. How do they know who's calling?
caller ID.
And it says like it's a media outlet.
Either way,
They could be at home during quarantine. How do you know it's a
maybe they
reporter
let those
calling?
people go. I'm going to give American Girl doll let them that we don't need customer service right now. Although now it feels like more than ever you would probably need
Want a
customer
doll.
service.
The lawsuit notes that the doll has a purple streak in her hair and wears holographic shoes, just like Walkowitz does.
Stop it.
Now it's getting too close for comfort. They're going to have to, I feel like, kick her a few of like the American Girl bucks.
Okay, so this is the moment where you say to yourself, "Uh-oh, we sell expensive dolls. We can't cry poor and be like, hey, we sell a $30 doll or a $15 doll."
Here, the defendants use the name and likeness of Lucianne, a well-known figure in astronomy, space, and STEM, to particularly studied the star Vega. So she studied the star Vega. They made her last name Vega in conjunction with American Girl doll Luciana Vega without obtaining her authorization. In fact, the defendants incorporated the same color hair streak
And shoes, which we
and
mentioned.
style of Luciana and the Luciana Vega doll. Yeah, someone at AG effed up here.
Yeah, they did.
Big time.
You can't just go on this ride. Someone was like, this is like someone
They
who-
left too many clues.
This is like someone who copies a paper off of Wikipedia,
That's
which I'm
right.
sure happens all the time right now.
By the way, it's not like little girls or boys who get these dolls would be mad if you made somebody up. If you're like, here's a really cool girl, we're just going to make someone up.
Right.
Female astronaut. They're going to. No one will care that it isn't rooted in that much reality. You create a lore.
Or take 12 details and switch them within the story.
Of all the great astronauts who
Or
have ever
don't
lived.
call it a name that's exactly the same name as the other person, and her last name is the star that this person is investigating.
Walkowitz is seeking unspecified compensatory, punitive, and other damages, which then now speaks to how little is she getting paid.
Right. Or also like punitive damages.
She doesn't need punitive.
Punitive damages, really?
This is
really?
this is when you wish that their dolls were $35 and not $135.
But punitive damages, come on. Maybe, okay, cut me in on the deal.
they got deep doll pockets. She's going after them. I agree,
get
but
it.
like, come on.
But you can't ask for punitive damages. I'm sorry, Rand.
Walkowitz's attorney, Charles Mudd Jr. Wait, her attorney his last name is Mudd? Your attorney's name is Mudd in this town.
And it literally is, and he's junior.
Mudd Jr. said there have been unproductive discussions with Mattel about the matter. Translation, he told someone at Mattel that he's going to rip his dick and balls off and make it look like he's a Ken doll
Right.
if they don't pay him the money that his client
Yeah,
deserves.
they're like, nope. And then they just got nothing. So Mattel's stonewalling these people.
Yep.
So if that's the case, then I'm like, go for the punitive
That's
damages.
right. That's right.
If Mattel is stonewalling you, go for it.
If you're in court and if my name is Mudd and I'm an attorney, I will bring in the doll, put her here. I will sit my client right here. I will read the description of the doll, which basically is everything, and I will read the bio for my thing, and I will leave it there, and I will say, case closed. No witnesses, no nothing.
yeah.
Opening and closing arguments are right
all
here
one and
and
the
right
same.
there.
Yeah, opening is the doll.
Shortest
closing
trial
is
in
the
history.
woman.
Shortest trial in history. How crazy would it be if Mudd also had a woman on his legal team? Because there'd probably be more than one
Who was
person
all-
on there. She was a woman, an American Girl doll, finds out who she is, and they win the case and win punitive damages and everything. And American Girl comes up with a lawyer doll that
Based
is
on
based
this
on her
woman.
likeness, and they just stay just far enough outside the bounds where they could get caught, and it becomes the best-selling doll in history. And they went. That to me feels like how that.
That'd
could
be
happen.
the only justice. Then both sides actually kind of win. But American Girl doll, if you're gonna make a doll and it's gonna be this close to an actual person, don't
can't-
use her name.
Don't use her name.
Don't use the star.
Don't
as-
put a purple
it's just-
streak in there. Don't use the same shoes. Don't have them study. Somebody effed up. They
She
lived
gonna come after you.
She gonna come after you.
You gonna get bit.
All right, I want to tell the story.
Tell the story, and then we'll get to some Langhorne Slim.
That's right. So I was watching this show. I watched Pretty in Pink on Saturday night with my wife because we wanted our 14-year-old to watch it, and she didn't want to watch it, and we were just there, and we're like, we're going to watch it. I was
And
like,
it
I don't
was
want
good.
I want to see if it holds up. It's John Hughes. John Hughes is great. I thought when I was watching it, I was like, this was probably the first of the series of movies, but it wasn't. This was like the last. This was like 87.
Right.
So it was
Kinda mailed
16
it.
Candles, 84, Breakfast Club, 85,
85.
and this was, I think, 86.
Right.
Okay. So it was a later.
John Cryer, pretty good.
Cryer was good. He was good. He definitely was good, but he was no like Anthony Michael Hall. They were trying to do like
Right.
create the next Anthony Michael Hall and have him kind of be that guy or Ferris Bueller or what have you.
Right.
He was good. He was good. He was fun.
Right.
Like I played the scene of him singing
Otis Redding.
for Georgia, who came down and saw it, and she's like, "I love him. I love Ducky. I love him. I love him." So there was something there.
You could see how people connected. Right.
Totally. She hated Spader. She saw a little bit of Spader. She's like, I hate him. I was like, he's amazing. This is why Spader's great. I was like, is he on your blacklist? So we're watching that, and then there was still time to watch some stuff, and I found this thing. I don't know how I found it on like Amazon Prime. It was a stand-up comedy show from the late 78 to 81. It was a show called The Comedy Shop. Clearly like trying to be the Comedy Store, but not really. And it was the Norm Crosby. Do you know who Norm Crosby is?
Bing Crosby?
No, not Bing Crosby. Norm Crosby was a Boston-born comedian who kind of opened for Sinatra, part of that Rickles, that whole crew, Joey Bishop, all those
Right.
Vegas guys. And his whole thing was that he would malaprop everything. He would screw up the way how words are used. That was his joke. So no jokes, just screwing it up. And he was wearing this double-breasted coat with like a crest on it. It made no sense. It looked like the Midnight Special set like that.
Okay.
It made no sense. None of it made sense.
Norm Crosby.
And
he's hosting.
And it was young comedians who had never done before, but like some people that you kind of knew, like Gary Mule Deer was really funny, but like Skip Stevenson. Then it was these like Roger and Roger, a duo, and all that. I could not believe how many Frank Travellino
who did all the impressions. Yeah.
And he
went to Vegas and made a lot of money.
Made a ton. He stayed in Vegas. So Fred Travellino. Fred Travellino. Anyway, this guy, he did Frank Sinatra singing the alphabet. That was the extent. You're not talking Carlin bits.
It wasn't top shelf.
No, it was just people who had not really done it before. So mixed with old-time friends of Norm Crosby's who would come on at the beginning and do a little bit and then would lead into the show. It was so weird. And then he would have a door that opened up and Don Rickles would come in, and Rickles was hilarious. He was hysterical. Rickles would then introduce the final comedian.
So I watched a Rickles TV special where he roasts the crowd, and celebrities were in the crowd.
He was amazing.
Burt Reynolds was just in the crowd watching.
So they bring out this guy, a special guest who comes out at the beginning. And I saw this at the beginning when I saw it, because they say, here's who's on the show tonight. They said a name that literally for me was a full year, not full year, but was
full life circle.
Life circle for me. The name they put on there, they said, of who was going to do a set of comedy on there, Stanley Myron Handelman, which is a ridiculous, hilarious name. This was a name that our father, when we were kids, would throw around like a joke name.
Yeah, that was the joke name. Who's the guy that we have to talk to over there?
Stanley Myron Handelman. And we're it was the same. He said in the same breath as a Pookie Snackenberg.
Right.
So I always thought it was a fictitious. I did not think it was a real person, nor did we ever check to see if it was a real person.
Where are we going? We're going to Pitcherick.
Yeah.
Some random name.
Whose house? We're going to Stanley Myron Handelman's house. It sounded funny. And we're that's just dad being silly. So for our whole lives,
I just thought it was something our dad made up.
A name he made up. And then to see that this was a real person.
Not just a real person, a comedian.
A comedian who wrote for Rodney Dangerfield. When Rodney Dangerfield died, his estate paid Stanley Myron Handelman $10,000 and $800 a month subsequently thereafter. So he must have wrote a lot of stuff for him.
Yeah, he probably wrote a lot of jokes.
And he was interesting and thoughtful and kind of quiet and told a joke about. And
he reminded me of our buddy Scott Krantz a little bit.
Yeah, he had a real
New York accent.
Real New York accent.
But he kind of looked nerdy.
Kind of like Fred Stoller a little bit. It was very character stuff like that. He was a guy who always got shit on. It was so... I fell off the couch that this was a real person. I told my kids this, and all they wanted to do was call you the next day and get your reaction. So they're like, Uncle Jason, we're going to tell you 2 words.
But
you have to complete the third. You have to complete the third. Stanley Myron. And then Jay on the phone was like, Handelman? What were you thinking when they called you?
I was like, how do you guys know this? I thought you just shared that name and that story with them. I had no idea that it was a person. And then you told me that it was an actual person. I went down the rabbit hole and watched his stuff, and it made me so happy.
It was the craziest thing ever.
You know why it made me happy? Number one, I just love that Dad pulled a real person.
Hilarious.
And that it was a comedian. Mm-hmm. I loved that.
We didn't know and found out until this day.
Till we're 48 years old.
Right.
I also loved that there was hope in the fact that this guy worked and built a career, and I guess built a viable life as a comedian and a writer, and he wasn't someone that we even know, and
That's right.
know everything.
We know everything about it. So the fact that we didn't know who it was it's fascinating. Stanley Myron Handelman. You can use that as a joke name with your kids or whatnot.
No one will ever know.
For us, it was, for me, just watching this random, dumb Norm Crosby, the comedy shop shows. I fell off my couch. I couldn't believe it. My kids couldn't believe it. It was such a because you don't get surprised by life anymore.
That's right.
You just don't. And this was a moment that was surprising in life, and we just wanted to share it with you because... Oh my God. In this moment right now, if we can be surprised by something and
feel joy and a connection to a simpler time.
It was a feeling I haven't had in a long time. I'll tell you that much right there. So it was amazing. And with that, we say, go punch a water faucet, then go wash your hands, stay socially distanced, but stay connected. We're going to toss to a video our great friend Langhorne Slim.
Follow him on Instagram. He's putting up a lot of music on his site. He's a great artist.
He's been writing a lot of songs about the pandemic. This is a fantastic song because it really shows you his songwriting and his ability to play, and the dude's voice. He's amazing. So we send you off with a Langhorne Slim video. We'll see you tomorrow. We're out. See you guys.
confidentially. Don't know just how I'm feeling, but I'm feeling feelings exponentially. Convoy started asking questions. Said, ma'am, I was hoping for advice. I'm feeling lots of feelings. Not a single one of them feels nice. She said, do you ever think about dying? Said, no, but sometimes I lie. Do you wanna live? I say yes, but I feel like shit. On a scale of 1 to 10, do you feel anxious? On a scale of 1 to 10, do you feel scared? Said I'm feeling lots of feelings. For some reason I cut my hair. Sometimes my skin starts crawling. Sometimes the creature's calling. Sometimes the walls start caving in. Sometimes I feel isolated. Sometimes I feel so small. Sometimes I get irritated. Right now I feel it all. She spoke and I tried to listen. Said, son, there may be no cure, but I swear that life's worth living. It's the only thing worth living for. To my friends in the same condition, I wish there was a cure, but I swear that life's worth living. It's the only thing worth living for. I called a healthcare professional. Want to speak to someone confidentially. Don't know just how I'm feeling, but I'm feeling feelings exponentially.